So for the news, first of all, the Avengers 5 Kang Destiny Dynasty. I don't know if they're still calling it this. Anyway, it's gonna start filming in 2025. So in 6 months' time. Well, not exactly 6 months' time, but it's gonna start filming next year. I think you forgive, let people live their life. Jonathan Majors, as long as he learned from it, right, his mistakes and whatnot, but could be a good comeback. When I say comeback story, like a redemption story, as long as he's kind of redeemed himself as a person. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. They haven't really said. I don't think they've said anything that they look at to change things or whatnot, or if they look at to change the actor for Kang. But whatever, I mean, this might be fake. I just pulled this up on Google with Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire and Jonathan Majors. But Avengers 5 starts filming next year, and we're going to get that. So can't wait for that. I spoke about this last week, and I saw a news that was like legit, but I don't think it is. Last week I said that he was interested and Marvel was interested. Then I saw something pop up saying that it's official, but then I tried to search for it, so I couldn't find anything. So I think it's still rumors for now. But Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider might happen, but it just seems like it's just popping out there in the news. But we'll see. He'll do great. Green Goblin, they're looking to reboot, or not reboot, sorry, give us a MCU Green Goblin. So that's going to be interesting. In the new, I think it's gonna be a trilogy told what's his name, Tom Holland Spider-Man series. So we're gonna get a new Green Goblin. I'd be very interested to see the costume design in this. Defoe is perfect, right? We all know he's absolutely perfect. Done a great role in Green Goblin as Green Goblin. But let's see what the Green Goblin that we get in the MCU. I think I don't know who they'll pick, but I think they'll do great with the character, with whoever they cast. I'm very much more interested to see the costume design. Are we going to get something like from the comic books, with the purple and the green, as you can see in the picture? Or is somehow the default one worked? Like, whenever I look at it, you know what? For back then, it worked. And even now, it worked because he was in the Spider-Man movie. Now, if he showed up like that, for example, if he shows up like that in the new MCU, I would think, oof, that looks a bit off. But it worked perfectly back then. Let's see what they do with the costume now. So should be getting that. The first look at, there's some leaked images of Superman that came up. And I know Kibler tried to avoid it and whatnot. But a couple of noticeable things, like you get the shorts back, his red shorts back and everything. I think some of the feedback that me and Ash were talking about is he doesn't look like he's filling up the suit. But I don't think that. I think when it comes out, these are just photos, man. This is random photos. Like, when it comes out, they're going to tighten things up. They're going to use CGI to tighten things up. I think he's going to, I don't think they're going to fill up the suit, but I think he's going to look neat in it. They're just going to tighten things up for him to fit his body type rather than him or padding it up and thing. James Gunn, visually amazing, and I think visually he's going to make sure it looked perfect on the big screen. Doesn't have to be hench and bulky and whatnot, but the suit fits. Right now it just feels like it's not filled up. But remember in Winter Soldier, Captain America and Winter Soldier TV show, Anthony Mackie's suit, I remember they, like, the neck was kind of coming out or whatnot, so they had to use CGI to kind of tuck it in and whatnot. I think they'll do the same thing with Superman. Let's take a look. I mean, they had some other leaked images. Let's see if I can find any with some other characters who I'm not familiar with, to be honest. Yeah, this character here, not familiar with, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's first look. I think Kibler tried to avoid it, to be honest with you, just kind of a spoiler perspective. But, it's great to know that the red underpants are back and whatnot, and I think it's going to be great. I know people already comparing, Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill. Let it go, guys. We've got to move on. And I think it's going to be great. All right, the other news was for DC, Green Lantern series has been given the green light from DC Studios, so this will be canon to the whole DC Studios universe, the DC universe. I'm looking forward to what they do because I think there's so much you can do with the Green Lantern Corps. Not that I'm an expert in Green Lantern, but I think from a visual and a perspective of creativity, you know. I think they can do so much. And then kind of open up that cosmic world as well, which I would have with Superman and whatnot. Or, you know, we've always seen that. But just to see Green Lantern again on the big screen, of course, the Ryan Reynolds one was not great, but let's see what with James Gunn's vision, what do we see? And I'm looking forward to that. And I think a series is good. I think a combination of series and movies are going to be great, just so you get an opportunity to build characters properly, nicely, and then put them all together when the time's right. So that's what I'm looking forward to this the most. All right, let's move on to other movie news. And this one was about Acolytes. Now, I haven't seen anything since I left Dubai, so I'll catch up when I get back. Now, I know, as you can see here, the, what do you call it? The Rotten Tomatoes review is really bad by the audience. The audience are not liking it. Whatever. I'm not, I'll watch. I watched episode 1, 2, and 3. Episode 1 and 2 I thought was pretty good. 3 was like a bit weird and whatnot, but you know, I'll watch 4, 5, and 6 and when I get back and see how it is. But that wasn't it. What I found out though, or what I saw was the Acolytes, each episode budget was double of Godzilla Minus One. Right? One episode's budget was double of Godzilla Minus One. And everyone, if you've seen that movie, if you haven't seen that movie, you need to go see that movie. If you haven't seen that movie, you know how awesome that movie was. But I just found that to be interesting. Like, it's not about budgets, right? It's not about just throwing shit in there. It's supposed to be good storytelling, especially if you're using a universe like Star Wars. But again, I've only seen 3 episodes. Now everyone's cussing the shit out of the show. When I say everyone, a lot of people, fans or whatnot, but I haven't seen them, so I can't cuss it already. All I can say is episode 1 and 2 was decent. I love the martial arts. That's been different. Episode 3 was a bit weird with the witchcraft stuff, but let me watch it and see how it goes on. But I just thought that budget thing was interesting. The next piece of news was Friday. Let's go. Ice Cube said that the last Friday is in the works. Something I'm looking forward to. Like the original Friday with Chris Tucker was freaking awesome. I think one of those cult classic type of comedies. Then they made a few other Fridays. This will be the last one. I think the 4th one in the thing you got next Friday, which was actually pretty awesome with Omar Epps. Is it Omar Epps or Michael Epps? I can't remember his name. And then next Friday, which was all right as well. But the original Friday was amazing with Debo. And just classic lines like, you got knocked the fuck out. Like, this movie just had that. What I would want in the last one, in my opinion, I don't know if it will happen, bring back Chris Tucker, man. Bring back Smokey. Like, bring him back. Because he was freaking hilarious. And I feel like with Friday, I remember it was just on this one road, right? The original one. It was just on the one road in the front of his house, him and Smokey just chilling and then just observing what's happening on the street. Man, take it back to that. I would say take it back to that. Take it back to that kind of comedy. If you can get Chris Tucker back in there, that'd be awesome. A Smokey, I would love to see that. That's in my opinion. But regardless what they do, I'll watch it. But I think regardless, like that first movie, Ice Cube just smashed it. I believe he wrote that. And he's got I think he got a cult classic comedy on his hands there. So last Friday in the works. If you're a fan of the Friday franchise, that should be something we're looking forward to. All right. Jonathan Majors, going back to him. So according to Deadline, Jonathan Majors has been cast in a supernatural revenge thriller, Merciless. Martin Villeneuve, the younger brother of filmmaker Denis Villeneuve, I pronounced his name wrong, I apologize, will direct it. So, you know, considering what I think he was in prison for a year, I think it was, convicted for a year, I don't know, I'm not going to go into that. But considering that, listen, he's still getting casted for movies. He's an amazing actor. He is amazing. Did he make a mistake? Hell yeah. Should he be boycotted or, you know, what do you call it, cancelled for life? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not my decision to make. But he is an amazing actor. But it looks like he's still getting roles. You know, it looks like it is because according to Deadline, he's been cast for a role. So maybe there's some forgiveness out there. But it will be good to see him back on the big screen. And hopefully he's a changed human being and doesn't have to go through the same shit. Or doesn't do what he did. All right. Moving on. All right. So this was interesting. I've done a little short about this. Let me see if I get here. So shortly, I'm going to just read this here. Shortly after the conclusion of the main event of the first UFC Saudi Arabia card that they had last week, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Al Ali Sheikh, this brother here, he's the one who's bringing all these events to Saudi Arabia, especially from a combat perspective. He's helping making all these massive boxing fights, help organize this big UFC card in the UFC, bringing the UFC out there. I mean, he was so impressed, and we're going to get a lot more of UFC out there. But him and Dana White joined John Anik in a live broadcast to announce the promotion would return to Saudi Arabia in early 2025. So the Saudi advisor also noted that he wants his friend Zack Snyder to direct a big UFC movie similar to the Cinderella Man. So, I mean, a UFC movie with the creative visuals and vision of Zack Snyder. And the reason why I think that this could happen is this brother here, Ali Sheikh, can make it happen, because you just throw money at the shit, man. You could just make it happen. Now, do you want it to happen? Money and all that stuff, put the budget in there. Would Dana White want to happen? What would this movie be about? Would it? I mean, if you're making a UFC movie, then you've got to make it about the UFC and the growth of the UFC, and it's got to be like Dana White and the Fertitta brothers, and the Gracie family starting off. You've got to start off with that, right? How would Zack Snyder do it? I mean, I'm just thinking of like his vision, like a comic book vision, or like a 300 vision, real life gladiators in a cage. You know, do they go into the background of when, Hoist Gracie was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about some of the ideas that people threw out there, like, have a pit with alligators down there and all this sort of stuff. Like, if you fall out of it, you're going to get munched by alligators. Like, some stupid ideas that people are throwing out there. Ultimately, they landed on a cage. Thank God. They were talking about barbed wire and shit. It's crazy, some of the ideas that they'll think about. What does he do with a UFC movie? I mean, the UFC is still young. It's weird that you say, like, make a UFC movie, but it's like young. It's still growing. So yeah, 1993, I think, was the first UFC event, right? So we're talking about 31 years old. I don't know, man. Like, the reason why I'm taking it serious is like, because they can make it happen because of the money. I'm just trying to think Zack Snyder's vision. I'm just thinking 300. They could do something great. I think it might be about, I think you've got to do it about, or you don't have to do it about, but you've got to do it about the growth of it, and Dana White and whatnot, being a big part of the Fertitta brothers and all that sort of stuff. Interesting take, interesting thought that they threw out there. I'm in. I mean, I'm a big UFC fan. Guys, check out Fight Talk with me and K West talking about the fights. We had big UFC 303 today, so me and K West are going to talk about tomorrow. So do check that out. Huge MMA fan, martial arts, training martial arts and everything. So huge UFC fan. I do enjoy watching ONE FC on some occasions, Bellator, PFL, whatever, when certain fighters are fighting. So I'm a huge MMA fan. If they made this, 100%, I would be in. Let's move on to this one. Oh, Squid Games 2 just was just FYI, is coming out December at the end of this year. So something to look forward to the end of this year. Squid Game 1 was awesome. I even saw the Squid Game challenge show that they did, which was also awesome. But this show, let's see how they topped the first one, because the first one was so good, and man, it went viral as a show. So how do you top this? I'm looking forward to season 2. The next thing was this one. Yes, I saw this and I thought this was interesting because I really enjoyed the first, 21 Jump Street, the original ones. I have to be honest with you, I didn't see with Johnny Depp and whatnot, but the movies with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, I thought were awesome. Comedy, just absolutely awesome. Jonah Hill, whatever he's in, is amazing. That guy is just awesome. But apparently they've been trying to do a 2023 Jump Street. And what website is this? Shout out to CBR.com. But anyway, Channing Tatum was saying something about an interview with Comic Book. Tatum said the script was in fact written for the third time, for the third film. There is a project that was written, and it's still the best script that I've ever read for a third movie. So that's interesting coming from him. Tannen said through Lord and Miller had departed. Though Lord and Miller had departed from the franchise, James Bobbin was brought on board to direct the third film. Bobbin had directed The Muppets in 2021, starring Jason Segel. However, the film never began, and Tatum gave a reason to as why. It's just a lot of bureaucracy, kind of above the line stuff. Tatum said it's really hard to get it made, and we've been trying to get it done. So I don't know, sounds political and whatnot. I hope they do it. I really enjoyed the other ones, man. They're just hilarious, man. They're just easy to watch. They're funny. The dialogue's funny. I think with these guys, especially with Jonah Hill, you just look forward to the comedy dialogue. That's what's hilarious about these movies and whatnot. So I hope they do it. I hope they figure out how to make it happen, because I'm in 100%. Quick update on this one. Sony releases dates according to Deadline. This is Sony released its dates for the Street Fighter live action movie. So it's set for 2026, and the exact date they put in there was March 20th, 2026, close to my birthday, 2 years from now. Can't wait for this. One of the retro movie reviews will be the original one with Van Damme, because that was awesome. I don't care, that was awesome. It's just one of those guilty pleasure type of movies. But I'm looking forward to this. I think with the storytelling they have now, the choreographing, the martial arts, the special effects, all that sort of stuff, they could put something great together. So I'm looking forward to what they're doing. Just get the character, I think, get the character costumes and design right, and we're in. So I'm looking forward to that. Street Fighter coming out March 20th, 2026. All right, guys, that's all the news I had for you. If you enjoyed that clip, check the description for the full podcast episode. And while you're at it, show some love and click that subscribe and like button.